Hello, friends. Happy Tuesday. It's time for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. This is Lena Gersa. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada, where it is hot and steamy and humid as all get out today. And I am all about the adorable Lily Pond Lane suite from the Stampin' Up! 2024-2025 Annual Catalogue. Now, this suite was one I was kind of like, I don't need ducks. I don't need ducks. I don't have little kids. I don't need ducks. How wrong was I? Seriously, I should know better. This suite is absolutely adorable. Whether you have little ones or not, the patterns in the DSP are just so sweet. So I've had so much fun creating with this suite. I have, I don't know, a whole bunch of samples to share with you. I'm going to make 3 projects with you today. One quick, easy card that really showcases the beautiful designer paper, and then 2 other really fairly simple fun folds that are really suitable for any level of crafter and again showcase the DSP. So if you are watching me today, let me know whether you're watching with me live or you're watching the replay and where you're watching from. It's always interesting to me to see who is joining me. All right, so we've got Mia from Cincinnati and Christine from Illinois. Welcome to both of you. Hi, Jeanette from way up in Sudbury. Welcome. All right, I am going to flip my camera to my desk and let's have a look at the beautiful products in this suite. Oh, we got Kathy here. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Mary from Pennsylvania. All right. Hi, Julie. All right. So here is the suite layout in the catalog. It's on pages 44 and 45. And honestly, the way that they have laid out the suites now in the catalogs, I just love because we have nice big pictures of the DSP. We've got all the products that are included in the suite. The item code is nice and big. That is a huge improvement. And then we have all these beautiful projects. So let me show you the products up close, and then we're going to get to some stamping. So here we go. So I have some printed off imagery from when I did my display boards for a team event back in June. So I figured I would save it and show you the stamp imagery as it is shown on the website. So it actually corresponds to the stamp set. I've got them both here. But so the stamp images are 2-step stamping. So you can stamp the duck all by itself and color it with Stampin' Blend, or you can stamp the duck and then add color with the 2-step stamp, and then there's even a different stamp for the bill and the feet. So we've got 2 adult ducks, well, mama duck, daddy duck, and baby duck, and then we've got a cute little frog. 2-step stamping with the bullrushes, you're going to see those used today, and then some sentiments. So that is the stamp set. And then, of course, we have coordinating dies, open dies to cut out the stamped images, but then a ton of extra dies in this set to create just adorable scenes. This one cuts a window. You're going to see that on some of the samples that I'll share in a little bit. The other thing that I love, let me show you the actual dies, is that there are several dies in this set that with one pass, it's one die, you get 2 images. So the bullrushes, for example, lily pads, you actually get 3, the flowers and the buds. So saves you tons of time. And then again, here, the baby duck, you get the 2 layers. You're going to see that used on a sample in a little bit as well. So super, super cute, sweet. Mia, you have this bundle. Can't wait to use it. Okay, well, hopefully I'll give you a little inspiration today and get the creative juices flowing. All right. For me, the best part of this suite is the designer paper. Now, before I go any further, I have to tell you, we are having a designer paper sale in August. Just found out today. It's coming August 6th. So you don't want to wait. You don't want to order right away on August 1st because you won't get the sale price. The sale price kicks in August 6th till the end of the month. And this adorable paper pack is one of the ones that is on sale. So if you have bonus days coupons that you've been holding on to from this month, then you may be able to grab some DSP with those bonus days coupons and get it at a discount, which is just awesome. All right, so let's have a look at this cute, cute paper. So we've got lots of little sort of lily pond scenes here. And then we also have lots of other sort of critters that you might see around a pond. So we've got some goldfish. We've got lots of ducks that we can cut out. We've got some beautiful florals in this one as well. Look at these beautiful water lilies. Where's the other one? There is another one. Oh, here it is. This pink one I love as well. And then lots of images from the DSP that can be cut out with the dies. So love the versatility. I love that Stampin' Up! Does that. They just give us so many possibilities with this paper for our creativity to run away. So let's get these out of the way. And we're going to get, oh, I almost forgot. We have these adorable little embellishments. These are currently out of stock. They're adhesive backed dappled dots. They've been in and out of stock really since the catalog launch. They're super cute. And I think they're having a hard time keeping them in because they're so cute. But you're going to see them in use on a project or two today. All right. Okay. We got lots of people jumping in here. We got Charlie and Gail. Hi, Louise. Hi, Lauren. Hi, Julie. Yeah. All right. So first card is a real quick and easy one. Again, I wanted to showcase the DSP because we're having a sale in case you missed it. And I thought it would be a great idea to show you lots of ways to use this beautiful 6x6 paper. All right. Jean is here. Welcome, Jean. All right. So here we go. To start, I have a piece of this adorable paper. So on the back side, it's got the water lilies, but on the other side, it's got the lily pad. So we're going to use this side. It's 4 by 5¼ inches. And then I'm going to mat that on a piece of Granny Apple Green cardstock that is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. As always, all of my measurements are in the video description. You may have to scroll down a little bit. Sometimes you have to click see more and then scroll down to see them, but they are there. Trust me. And you can use them to recreate any of these projects or use them as inspiration for your own projects. So there we go. That is our card front. That is going to get glued onto a thick basic white card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. So this is a real quickie, easy card. I love quick and easy cards that don't require a whole lot of muss and fuss. Sorry, my grid paper's sliding around here. All right, let's get this glued on. I also love that this particular pattern is non-directional. Doesn't matter, there's not really an up or down, which is great. Lots of ways to use that. Okay, we're gonna set that aside for a moment. And I just wanna hold up this, show you this panel here. So originally I had cut, okay, so first of all, I have to tell you, I ran out of this paper, so I'm using a different pattern, okay? Just telling you now, but just goes to show you how versatile this DSP is. So originally I had planned, let me just pull out my Granny Apple Green. So I was going to just kind of do this and mount it like this on my card front. But I didn't really like that. I found it really kind of heavy on my card front. So I decided to cut up this little panel into sort of random, well, not random, but varied width strips. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer, get my sample out of the way here. And I'm going to use the bottom ruler just because it's a little bit easier for you to see. So to start, this piece is 2.5 by 4.5. Okay. So I'm going to cut my first piece. So this is from the top edge. I'm cutting it 1.5. Is that right? Let me make sure. Yes. 1.5. And then we're going to do 1 1/4. And then we're going to do 1. And then the last little bit is 3/4. So that gives us a little bit of varied interest in our focal image there, or our panel, or our label. So I should have mentioned that. Let me move this up so you can see what I'm doing. So we're going to just go ahead and easiest way to do this to make sure everything's straight is to make sure your Granny Apple Green panel in the background is straight to start. And then I'm just going to put a little squiggle of glue where I want my largest panel to go. And we're going to put that on. And by using my grid paper, I can get that nicely centered like that. Now I am going to lay the rest of these out just to make sure that I leave myself enough space at the bottom for my last piece. A series of panels and not having enough room at the end. So we're going to put this guy on next. So actually, I can put a little glue on here just to make sure I get it in the right spot. And again, we're going to use our grid paper to help us get this on straight and even. Here we go. Now I can add my next couple of panels. This little trick is a great way to use sort of scenic DSP, you know, DSP that has landscapes or different sort of scenes like this one does. It breaks up the scene, gives you some interest, but it also still allows you to really showcase that scene in a way that's interesting. All right, there we go. We have our panel. You like that? All right. Uh-oh, I'm cutting out. Don't tell me that. This is not good. Okay, I'm going to keep going and hope that the audio improves. Let me know how we're doing. If it's still cutting out, I may ditch my headset and see if I can do this just on a mic. Okay, I'm still cutting out. All right, let's change some audio here. I am going to mute this one. All right, how's that? Is that better? Let me know if that works better for you. Mia is saying it's sporadic. I'm just going to talk for a minute here. Maybe I'll recite my alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. How we doing? All right, Kathy says much better. Okay, I'm going to ditch the headset then. All right, carrying on, headset free. All right, so we are going to pop this little panel that we've created. Now I'm getting an echo here, so I got to do that. I'm going to pop this little panel that I've created up on my card base here. So we'll get rid of our backings. And that, let's put it right side up, is going to go on with an equal border, top and edge here. Okay, so there is my card front. Okay, alphabet sounds good. Thanks, Charlie. At least I know my alphabet. There are days, right? There are days where you kind of have to go, what am I doing? All right. Now we have these cute little critters. So we've got a little duck that I've die cut from the DSP, and the bullrushes are actually die cut from the DSP as well. So the dies actually coordinate not only with the little ducks, but also with some of the other images. So this little label is cut using the Wildflower Designs dies. I love these hexagon, 1, 2, 3. Yes, hexagon. Had to count the sides there for a minute. These hexagon shaped dies. I'm using them a lot today. And we are going to stamp hello, friend. Okay, Jean. Well, I'm glad it sounded okay. Sometimes that headset, if there's any kind of interference or whatever, and we've got lots of storms around today, sometimes it's not necessarily the best option. So we'll just stick with no headset. I will talk a little bit louder than I typically do, and we will carry on from there. All right, so I've gone ahead and stamped hello, friend in gray granite ink on my little label here. And then I'm just going to take my balmy blue ink pad and a blending brush, and I'm going to apply just a little hint of color to the other end of my label, just to give my duck a little bit of a background. Really subtle. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and add our bulrushes and our little duck friend. So our bulrushes, I'm just going to add a little bit of seal to the back of my bulrushes here. And we're going to pop that on. I'm not putting them right at the bottom because if I do, my duck's going to cover them all, right? And then this little guy is going to get popped with a couple of dimensionals. Maybe we'll do a full size and a mini. Cattails, see that, Mia, that's what we called them as well growing up. But then every single video I've watched using this set, everybody's called them bulrushes. And I was afraid if I called them cattails, people wouldn't know what the heck I was talking about. So thank you for saying that. Okay, now I feel a little more normal. All right, we're going to go ahead and add our adorable little ducky friend here. We're going to put a dimensional on the end of the label where it hangs off this already popped panel. And then we're going to add a little bit of seal where it's going to overlap the popped panel. And then that is going to go on. Oh, I don't know. Let's put it right about there. So cute. And then we're going to finish that off with a couple of these adorable little embellishments. So we'll just grab, I like the petal pink. So we're going to use a couple of petal pink ones. Not petal pink, pretty and pink. Pretty and pink is the color, not petal pink. I do know my in colors, really. There we go. Now I have this extra little scrap of DSP here. And do you ever end up with these little 3/4 inch scraps? They are perfect for decorating the inside of your card. So I just thought I would show you that you can use this. So this was just what was left from cutting my 6x6 cardstock or DSP. This background panel, it was 6x6. I cut it to 4x6, and then I cut 3/4 of an inch off to make it 5 1/4. So there we go. We're not wasting. Okay. All right. Bullrushes. Okay. Thank you, Mia. You've made my day. So there we go. 2 different DSP patterns for our focal panel, but both of them work really well. So there we go. One done. Moving on. Here we go. All right. So this is a super, super easy fun fold. So if you are a relatively new stamper and fun folds intimidate you, or even if you're not new and fun folds intimidate you, this one is one that is super easy. And for those of you that are, let's say, budget conscious, you will really like this because we get the absolute most out of our paper here. So let me show you. Actually, let me show you what this does first. It opens up like this. It's just a really simple fun fold, but we use our DSP, and it is really what forms our card base. Okay. All right. So let me show you what we're going to do here. So I have a piece. So this started out, let me just assemble all my bits here. This started out as a 6x6 piece of DSP. Okay, so the first thing I did is I cut 3/4 of an inch off the top so that this is now 5 1/4 inch. And then I die cut this little label out of here so that I have a focal image for the front of my card. I can get away with that because this panel is actually going to be hidden. So let's show you how to do that. I'm just going to bring in my trimmer. And I'm going to score my DSP at 4 inches. And then when I fold it, let's just make sure we get it folded right on the score line. You can see how that is going to form our little card front, and that is going to get covered. Isn't that slick? All right, now we are going to adhere that to, well, first of all, we're going to adhere our, no, we won't do that yet. We will adhere it to our peach pie layer. Now you can see here that I've also die cut a label out of the peach pie layer. So this again uses the Wildflower Designs dies. This is a die that actually cuts a scalloped frame and then this little label. So this label we're going to use to mat our focal image. That frame I'll use on another project. Okay, so what we're going to do now is layer our DSP onto our peach pie mat. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to add a little bit of glue, and I'm actually going to put it on the peach pie layer because I got a big gaping hole in the middle and I don't want to end up with glue where I don't want it. So I'm going to take my DSP and I'm just going to layer that right on there. Okay, and look, even though I was super careful, I still ended up with glue where I didn't want it. That's okay. That's not going to matter because we're going to cover that in a minute. Okay, so you can see how our card base is starting to take shape. Now, we're going to add some ribbon before we add our backing. So our backing panel, I should mention some dimensions here. This is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. It's a 1/4 sheet of cardstock. The peach pie layer was 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Okay, and that's what I cut my label from. This is going to layer on here like this, but we're going to add some ribbon first. So I have some peach pie in color ribbon. I'm going to cut, I don't know, about 18 inches or so, 20 inches. I like to give more than I think I'm going to need because sometimes you need that extra length to tie your bow. All right, so I'm just going to take and loop my ribbon around my front panel here. Make sure my ends are fairly even. There we go. All right, so now I'm just going to lift my ribbon back. I'm going to apply a little bit of seal here and here where the ribbon's going to overlap. This is just going to really tack it into place. It's not really gluing anything just yet. It will really get secured once we glue it onto our backing panel. All right, I'm also going to add a little bit of seal where it's going to come across my front panel, just like that. Okay, and then I can go ahead and glue this down onto my cardstock. So again, I'm going to add some liquid glue. Oops, did I do that? Oh yeah, I'm good. Whew. Had a little momentary panic there. All right, and that's going to pop on just like that. Okay. All right, so far so good. Now we're going to go ahead and do some stamping on our inside panel. So to do that, it's really helpful to have an idea of where your label is going to go because we kind of want to hide our sentiment with the label. So if I kind of lay this here, it's going to kind of go, it's a little higher than it is on my sample, but that's okay. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to stamp my bulrushes or cattails. Thank you, Mia. First, and then I will add my sentiments later. All right, so here we go. I'm going to stamp the actual stems and leaves of my cattails in Granny Apple Green. And I might do a couple here because this is going to be a little bit, the label's going to be a little bit higher than it was on my sample. So we're going to add a little extra something, something. And then I'm going to stamp the actual buds, or whatever they are called, on this particular bit of flora in peach pie. This coordinates with the DSP. Just like that. I'm sorry if that was too low for you to see, but I had to pull it close enough so I could see what I was doing. All right, so now that is going to get glued inside our card. Like I said, I'll add my sentiments afterwards. So we're going to glue this inside. Whoop, not upside down. Just like that. I should mention this white panel is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. So we have a whole bunch of narrow borders here, but I really like that layering. Do you see that layering? 1, 2, 3, 4. I like layers. In case you hadn't noticed, in case you haven't been around much. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and layer our focal image onto our peach pie label. So we'll pop that on, centered on there, just like that. Okay, and then that is going to go on right about there, maybe over just a smidge. But first we're going to add our little extra bit of foliage here. So I have some little die cut water lilies and lily pads, and then I have a white cattail. And we're actually going to color that with Stampin' Blend. So I love this trick, just cutting die cuts in plain old white and then adding color with my blends. It allows me to make them any color I want and have multicolors on one image without having to cut multiple die cuts. So I'm coloring the stems and the leaves with dark Granny Apple Green. And then I'm coloring the buds, again, with peach pie. And then I'm going to add just a little hint of dark Pretty in Pink around the tops. That sort of, again, you see it on the DSP, that sort of variation in color. And then blend that out just a bit. And then I'm just going to color the very tips again in green as well. Just like that. Isn't that cute? Love it. All right.
So now that is going to get glued. Now I do need to have an idea where this is going to go, so I make sure that I don't stick it too far over. So I'm going to put just a smidge of glue. I actually started using adhesive sheets with these because it's a whole lot easier. But this particular one did not get an adhesive sheet. So we're going to do it the hard way with liquid glue. And then we're going to add, whoops, you stay there. And then we're going to add our, oh, these guys do have adhesive sheets. Yeehaw. We like adhesive sheets. Peel this off, maybe. Come here. Take your pick to the rescue. How did we ever craft without this magical tool? I don't know. I don't know how we ever did it. And then we're going to add our little lily pads, or water lilies, I should say, the flowers, with just a couple of glue dots. So I'm just going to press them onto a glue dot. Make sure they're nice and secure. And then again, take my pokey tool. I think I'm only going to use one water lily on this guy. There we go. And that is going to go on right about there. And now you have the option. I'm going to pop this up. If you're worried about thickness, you could certainly glue it flat, but we've got enough real estate here that we can get away with, or sorry, it's not, this really isn't that thick, so we can get away with popping it up. All right, so that is going to go on right about there. So we'll peel off our backings and pop that on just like that. And then we're going to stamp our sentiment, which is "Have a lovely day." There it is, in gray granite. Okay. So we have to make sure now, I want to make sure that my sentiment is going to be hidden when the card is closed. So I'm going to put my sentiment right about there so that when I close my card, all we see are our stamped images and not our sentiments. And then we're just going to tie this shut. And you can see now why it's helpful to have that extra length of ribbon when you're tying. It's much easier than trying to fight with short ribbon. And then we'll just trim off our tails a little bit. Just like that. Isn't that cute? Super cute and super economical. I'm going to add a couple more of our little dappled dots here. We'll go with peach pie this time. We'll put one down here, I think. And there we go. Done and done. You like this one? All right. Jean likes it. She's going to case it. All right. Excellent. Okay. Moving on. Number 3. This is another easy, fun fold. That really just has a couple extra folds. It looks a lot harder than it is. So this is a book fold, Z fold. A book fold, Z fold card. So you're all familiar with the book fold card, right? Where you have a spine and the card opens like this. Well, this has an extra score line in it that enables you to create this cool pop-out panel. Stands like that and super simple. So let's do it. To start, I have a 4 1/4 by 11 inch piece of cardstock. So this is gray granite once again. And I started by scoring at 2 1/8, 4 1/4, and 5 1/2. Okay, so the 5 1/2 is your regular half card front score line. And then we've added 2 extras, so 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. Okay, so I'm going to start by folding in half, just along that 5 1/2 inch score line. Then my 4 1/4 inch score line, I'm going to fold back. This is where we get that book fold. So if I stopped there, right, you're familiar with the book fold. But then we have this extra 2 1/8 inch score line that I'm going to fold. What am I doing here? Back this way. Yes, I did that right. I had to think for a second. Okay, so we've got our spine. This is our book fold. And then we just have that one extra score line that we're folding back. Now, before I go any further, we're going to burnish these folds really, really well. With any Z fold, because you're layering lots and lots of layers with all those folds, you want to make sure you burnish your folds and they're nice and crisp. All right. So first thing I'm going to do is glue down what would be the spine on our book folds. So I'm just going to take a bit of glue and glue that down. Okay. Next, we are going to cut our DSP. So this is a piece, again, started as a 6x6. I cut it down to 4 by 5 1/4. And then we're going to do a little bit of cutting. So again, I'm going to bring in my trimmer. I'll use the bottom ruler so you can see. And our first cut is going to be at 1 1/8. So 1 1/8. Then I'm going to cut at 3. And that leaves that last little strip, which is also 1 1/8. So simple. All right. So we've got 3 and then 1 1/8 on each side. Okay. All right. Now you could certainly mat these just like that if you wanted to. However, I do like my layers. So we are going to mat each one of these DSP pieces on some Granny Apple Green cardstock. So this guy, what did I do? Oh, I cut it too wide. Should be 1, not 1 1/8. I am going to have to adjust that in the measurements. Should be 1 inch, not 1 1/8. So let me adjust that, which means this piece would be 5 and what am I doing? Got to make sure I'm cutting the right thing here. I can't talk and measure at the same time. Sorry, girls. There we go. And where's my other little guy? This little guy needs to be 1 inch as well. Come on, stay put. I need my little guillotine. There we go. So this would have been 5 1/8. No, 5 inches, not 5 1/4. Okay, so when we put these together, they still match up. We're all good. Okay, back to regularly scheduled programming. All right, so these, my Granny Apple Green pieces are 4 1/8 by 1 1/8. That's where I got my measurements mixed up. So this is 1 by 4. This is 1 1/8 by 4 1/8. So we're going to go ahead and layer this. No, my middle piece is not going to be too small. It's okay, Deb. Don't worry. It's all good. Don't worry. We are good. My middle piece needs to be 3 by 4, which it is. Yep, we're okay. But thanks for worrying about me. All right, so I'm going to take and glue this little guy onto that spine piece. Just like that. And then I have a separate panel that is a 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. I'm going to layer my 3 1/8 by 4 1/8 Granny Apple Green, and then my 3 by 4 inch DSP. Okay, those are all going to get layered. So here we go. We'll glue these guys down. Here's 1. And 2. Okay, so that piece is going to go on there, but we're not going to do that just yet. We're actually going to do our inside panel right here. So this little guy is sized to 4 by 4. And then I have my 1 by 4 inch piece of DSP. So that is going to get glued flush against the right edge. So we'll add a little glue and stick that on down. And then that's going to get layered on a 4 1/8 inch square of Granny Apple Green. Just like that. All right, and then that's going to get layered inside our card. Now, again, you could certainly cut out the Granny Apple Green layers if you don't want to deal with 1/8 of an inch, and you don't want as much weight. Okay, you could just use the DSP and your card base. You do not need those extra layers. All right, so there we go. And then this guy is going to get layered on the front just like that. The reason that I did this piece first is because I want to make sure when I put this one on that there's no white showing and that my images line up. Do you see that? All right, so we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of glue on here. And that is going to get adhered. Just make sure we're straight, like that. And there is our Z fold. Isn't that fun? It's pretty easy if you don't screw up your measurements. It's pretty easy. So these are 1, not 1 1/8. All right. Now it's just a matter of decorating. So I have a label that I've cut using the wild fern dies. I love these little rectangle labels that are in this set. So I'm going to start by stamping Happy Birthday in gray granite ink. And we're going to stamp it towards the top because we're going to also stamp the word friend. Oh, that's pretty crooked. Oh, well, happy birthday, my crooked friend. All right. Now we're going to use the Hello Friend stamp that we used earlier. I didn't bring a cleaner over here, but that's okay. Finger works. And we're going to mask off the hello. Now, the problem with this is that the hello is actually, there's a little sort of curlicue here on the end of the H that doesn't get covered when I do it this way. So I need to just rip it a little bit to mask it. So I've got my hello masked, and now I'm going to take my Pretty Peacock ink, and I'm going to ink up friend. And then we get rid of our Post-it, and we're going to stamp friend, hopefully not as crookedly, underneath happy birthday. There we go. Okay, so that's a neat way that you can get a little extra mileage out of your sentiment stamps by masking them and only using part of it. All right, so this little bulrush image I stamped, or cattail image, whichever you prefer, I stamped and die cut ahead of time. So we're going to, first of all, glue that to the back of our label here. So I'm going to add a little bit of seal, and we're going to stick that on. I like having the one leaf sort of hanging over there. Okay. And then I have just a couple of Granny Apple green bulrushes that I've cut, and I'm going to trim off the buds because I don't like green buds. So these are just going to get glued behind our stamped image, just to add a little extra interest. So we'll just add one and another guy over here, just like that. Okay, we'll get rid of these little guys. And then that is going to get adhered to the front of our card with a couple of dimensionals. So we'll go 1, 2. You could use Stampin' Write markers, Mia. The only thing I find with photopolymer stamps is I find that the Stampin' Write markers don't take to the photopolymer quite as well as they do rubber. So I find I don't get a really great quality image when I use them on photopolymer, which is why I chose to mask instead. But yes, you typically could. All right, so I've got my little lily pad here. We're going to add that to the corner of our label. And then I've still got a water lily here on a glue dot. So we're going to use that guy and just add that just like that. Okay. Now on the inside, I fussy cut. So we have Mama Duck and her 4 babies, and then I have Mama Duck and 3 babies, and then 1 baby who's not cooperating and taking his nap. So I thought that was kind of cute. Now I did actually stamp the bulrushes on the inside as well, but we're not going to take the time to do that right now. We're just going to add Mama and baby. So Mama's going to be napping over here. And then we have Mr. I'm not taking a nap, marching around, doing his own thing. Notice I said Mr. The girls are always cooperative, right? Okay, there we go. You like that one? We're going to stamp Have a Lovely Day on the inside as well before I forget. Okay, let's do this. We'll do our Have a Lovely Day. There we go. And yes, it does stand up, Jean. It is a really cute, fun fold. It pops out. You got a cute little scene when you stand it up. Another great way to use sort of landscape or scenic DSP patterns. All right, I have such a mess here. Let me bring back all of my projects from today, and then I'll show you a few more. So we've got 1, 2, and 3. Now here are some more, because you know me, I can't stop at 3. So here we go. This one, I stamped and colored my ducks with my Stampin' Blends. Used, again, 3 different patterns of the DSP. So many fun ways to use this paper. Here's one that uses that cool frame die. So cut a little window. You can see the pond in the background. And then my ducks are, again, die cut from the DSP. Add a few more lilies and Bob's your uncle. Here's another one. This one I used the little builder dies. So I built my ducks with the extra dies that are included. So I should mention, let me just show you something real quick. When you go to cut out the wing for Mama Duck, you get the wing and the bill. Okay, that little thing right there is the bill. I did not realize that and threw it out and then had to cut another one. So just heads up, don't waste your bill or lose your bill. But again, use that same window die, fussy cut a sentiment. This is one that Jen Kirk, who is another demonstrator here in Ontario, demonstrated as part of our team event back in June. This was a swap card I received. Love the way they've just die cut the ducks rather than, you know, being really fussy. They just use circle dies. And then the other thing I love about this paper is that it's not just about ducks, right? There are some gorgeous florals in the paper pack. So this one's super simple, just about the DSP and a simple sentiment and some pretty ribbon. Here is another one. Yes, Louise, they would be perfect to make a shaker card. Actually, I was going to make a shaker card this afternoon and then realized that we don't have, I know there's some coming in the mini, but right now we don't have great shaker filler that's current. So I held off until we get the mini. Here's another one. Did you know that the layered florals embossing folder, this one here, coordinates with the images on the DSP? If you look at the water lilies and these little sort of daisy-like flowers, it's very similar to the layered florals embossing folder. So if you have that folder, you just have to get this DSP pack, right? Because it coordinates. And then one more, here is my sketch-inspired card for this set. Again, I use that same layered florals embossing folder in my background and then just cut several circles from the DSP. Really, really simple. So there you go. I hope you like those cards. Let me switch back to me here. Okay. Mia, I hope that gave you some ideas and some inspiration to use or crack open your stamps and dies and your DSP pack and have some fun. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me. I apologize for the audio issues. Thank you for pointing them out to me. I'm glad we figured it out before I got too far in and was able to adjust. So thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed these projects. Next week, I will be live again. The following week, I will be on holidays. We are taking a trip to the East Coast of Canada. So any of you that are watching from the Maritimes, I will be in your neck of the woods from August 7th to 14th. So there will be no live at 5 on the 13th, but there will next week on the 6th, right before I leave. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week, and I will see you again next week for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. Bye for now.